found, that's what I wrote. Yeah. May 11, 2025, I wrote this sentence. The difference in Lord's test and Lord's punishment is to be sensed. If not, expect chaos to be met. Yes, what does it mean? Well, it is poetic. It has that rhythm. But what is it? The difference in Lord's test and Lord's punishment is to be sensed. Yes. A man should be wise enough to identify the difference in between the Lord's test and the Lord's punishment. Yeah. If not, and if that man is not that wise to identify that difference, then it is all chaos and catastrophe. Yeah. So therefore, the difference in Lord's test and punishment is to be sensed. Yeah. That is a very intuitive thing to do, if to be done, but you have to be that capable. Well, people these days, whenever they are going through a bad phase, what they do is they justify it by saying that it is just the test of my Lord and I have to be patient on this during this test. Yeah, and I have to not complain. It is a test that my Lord is taking from me. Whenever you see the bad people, the people going through the bad phase apparently, and you go there, yeah, and you ask them, what is the, I ask them about their circumstances. Well, I don't, but it is more like a suicidal thing. Yes, a man is a social animal, so therefore there are some formalities to follow. Yeah, a household, whenever it is going through a bad phase, the relatives, the surrounding, they inquire about what is it like, and the people, they directly say that it is just the test that the Lord is taking from us. That's what it is. It is just the test that the Lord is taking from us, and we have to be patient, and we have to be in gratitude. That's not the every case. Yeah. The difference in Lord's test, that's what they say, that it is a test, and Lord's punishment is to be sensed. Without knowing the sort of problem, how will you be able to solve that problem? They instantly forget all the blunders that they did that led to this situation and the phase that they are facing. Yeah, they forget all that whenever they say, well, we are going through the Lord's test, and we are very thankful, and thank you, and we have to be patient. And what if that phase is not a test and it is a punishment? What about that? What about that? That's what the Muslim Ummah is facing right now, right? What if the situations right now that we have in the Islamic world, it is the construct of the blunders that we have done in past, and it is not the Lord's test, and it is the Lord's punishment. Hey, what if that is the case? Similarly, it can also be applied on an individual level. Yes. So the difference in loads, I learned it very late. Yes. Believe me. It is a very mature topic, and only it requires a lot of intuition to understand things like these, and these are not. It is something, something a little hard to understand for a normal person, because they assume punishment as if it is a test. It is not that. It is not like that. Yes, you got what you do. Yes. So be aware of the things that you do, because the reality, the prerequisite to the yin and or the yang reality will be the yin or yang reality. Yes, the yin will lead to the yin of the reality in future, and the yang will lead to the yang of the reality in future. And you cannot give excuses. You cannot complain, and you cannot say that it is the Lord's test and I have to be patient. How dangerous it will be to be patient if that test is not a test but a punishment. How dangerous it will be to just apply patience. How dangerous it will be to just sit and not do anything and consider that phase a test. Because if it is a punishment, there are practical steps that we have to take, right? We have to get that thing to the break even. The people that assume that it is just the test of the loads, most of the time they stay in that situation all their life. Yes. So yes, and it requires an eye to see that. So not every person can tell if it is a test or because they are not accountable enough. You have to be accountable enough to understand if the phase that you are in and you are facing, if it is a test or is it Lord's punishment. Lord is your source. Yes, you got what you deserve. So you have to be accountable. That is the only way through. You cannot be blind to the blunders that you did in the past, and afterwards when you get the output of those blunders, you say that it is just the test that I'm going through. ये मेरी आजमाइश है जिसे मैं झेल रहा हूँ. ये मेरी आजमाइश है. Whereas it is a punishment. वो आजमाइश नहीं, वो अजाब होता है. What about that? What will you do? The difference is to be sensed. If you do not have that eye to acknowledge and identify the difference in between the test and the punishment, you are to suffer. It is catastrophe. Chaos. Totally. So think about it. Who else is going to think about it if you're not you? The difference in Lord's test and Lord's punishment is to be sensed. Yes. And if not, expect. And if not, expect chaos to be met. Yeah. So yes, it is more like self-destruction. The blunders and the mistakes that you did, they are to be corrected. Else you have to face the circumstances. Yeah. Yes. So that's what I found in my phone. And I have many experiences. I have witnessed people doing this. And I have witnessed people dying on the same reality because they failed to have enough awareness that it is not the test that they are going through. It is a punishment. They just act innocent and they forget everything and they forget their past. Yeah. Yeah. That's it.